Okay, have you ever built something with AI only to end up with a prompt that's, a mile long and just totally impossible to manage? Well, today we're going to fix that. We are diving into a technique that turns those messy, tangled instructions into clean, powerful, and reusable systems. It's time to start building with the Legos of AI.
So let's jump right in by looking at a huge roadblock that pretty much everyone hits when they're building with AI. I like to call it the prompting puzzle. It's that frustrating moment where your brilliant idea gets completely bogged down in its own complexity.
And let me just ask you this. Do your prompts ever feel like they just keep growing and growing and growing until they're this giant, tangled wall of text? It's confusing to read, it's an absolute nightmare to edit, and forget about trying to fix it when something goes wrong. Trust me, we've all been there.
In this slide, this really gets to the heart of it. On one side, you've got that single, monolithic prompt. It's brittle, it breaks easily, it's confusing, and it's a massive headache to debug. But on the other side, you've got the modular approach, which is scalable, super easy to maintain, and just crystal clear.
Yeah, this old way of just cramming everything into one massive instruction, it just doesn't scale. It's kind of like trying to build a skyscraper with no blueprint. You make one tiny change in one spot, and boom, the whole thing can come crashing down. It's just unstable and, frankly, totally unreliable for serious work. So what's the solution then? Well, it's time to stop thinking of our prompts as one giant single block of text and start treating them like individual bricks. And the core idea here is something called modular prompting. It's really just the simple practice of breaking down a big, complex task into a bunch of smaller, reusable pieces. Each one of these pieces, or modules, has one very specific job, and it's designed to do that one job perfectly. The absolute best way to picture this is with Legos. Seriously, each prompt module you create is like one single Lego brick. It's a simple, standard piece with a really specific purpose. But when you start snapping these bricks together, well, that's when you can build these incredibly complex and amazing structures. And the benefits of thinking this way are absolutely huge. First up, reusability. You build a module once, and you can just pop it into another project later on. That saves you a ton of time. Then there's maintainability. Need to update how the AI does something? You just edit one small module, not that giant, scary prompt. This also means you can scale things up so easily, building really complex AI agents from simple parts. And finally, readability. It just makes your work so much easier for you and your team to actually read and understand. Okay, but just having the Lego bricks is only half the story, right? To build something truly impressive, you need the instruction manual. And that's where we introduce hierarchy, creating a really clear chain of command for our prompts. So, hierarchical prompting. This adds that crucial layer of organization. You can think of it as a method where you have a high-level master prompt that acts like a project manager, and its job is to delegate all the specific tasks to the smaller, specialized modules in a logical order. Essentially, this one master prompt is the brain of the operation. It's in charge. It sets the main goal, and then it just orchestrates everything, telling all the other little prompts what to do and when to do it. And the best part? Putting this into practice is way easier than you might think. It's a really simple two-step process. First, you create your library of prompt modules, your Lego bricks, and just save each one in its own little text file. Second, you write a master prompt, that's your instruction manual, that simply calls on the modules you need for that specific job. See? Anyone can do this. All right, that's enough theory. Let's get our hands dirty and actually put this into practice. We're going to build something real, a simple automated market research analyst. So the first step, of course, is we've got to build our library of prompt bricks. We need to think about all the specific skills our AI analyst is going to need, and then we'll capture each of those skills in its own separate file. So for our AI analyst, the skill set is broken down like this. We've got a persona module that basically tells it to act like an expert. We've got a SWOT analysis module for checking out the competition, a market trends module for doing the research, and finally, a formatting module to make the final report look professional. Each one of these is a specialized tool in our analyst's toolkit. Okay, now that we have our specialized skills, our custom-made Lego bricks, it's time to create the master prompt. This is the manager. This is the instruction manual that's going to bring all those individual skills together and direct the whole workflow from start to finish. And this is what that master prompt actually looks like. Just notice how clean and simple this is. It starts by just pulling in the analyst persona with a simple include command. Then it lays out the primary goal and just calls each skill module one by one in a logical sequence. It's readable, it's efficient, and it's incredibly easy to change if you need to.
So what does all this mean for the bigger picture? Let's zoom out for a second and think about why this whole modular approach is so critical for the future of AI design.
Ultimately, what we're doing here is we're moving away from a fragile kind of craft-based approach to a much more robust, engineering-based one. And this is what allows us to build AI systems that aren't just clever parlor tricks, but are truly scalable, maintainable, and reliable tools that we can use in the real world.
All right, to wrap this all up, here are your key takeaways. First, please stop writing those giant monolithic prompts. Instead, start building a library of reusable prompt bricks. Then, use a master prompt to orchestrate all the complex tasks. If you adopt this mindset, I promise you are going to build way more powerful and dependable AI agents. Which really leaves us with a fascinating question to chew on. If we start treating prompts as a new kind of code, structured, modular, and hierarchical, what incredible things are we going to build next? The possibilities, they're truly endless.